So our libraries have been installed. Before going further, let me explain this important note also. So it's saying that if you have like deployed your model in the same region in which your project is, then you can use Azure AI Foundry project and Azure OpenAI endpoint, both. You can use any of them. So let's see in the Azure portal. So in the Azure portal, here you can see Azure AI Foundry project endpoint and Azure OpenAI endpoint. So they are saying if your deployed model and the project are in same region, you can use any of these endpoints, right? However, if they are in a different region, it could happen because if you have insufficient quota for that region for the and that's why your model is in a different region, deployed model is in a different region and your project is in a different region, then they are saying that you have to use a target URI of your model. So for target URI of model, you have to go to model and endpoints page. So this is not the target URI of your model, right? This is an OpenAI endpoint. So for that, you have to use target URI if the different regions are different. So you go to model plus endpoints, you select your deployed model, and then here you can see this is your target URI. So you have to use this if you have a different region. So that's the note for what they are explaining here. So now let's move to, we have installed our, you know, all the libraries. And the next thing they are saying that we have to open the .environment file, uh, yeah, in a code editor. So for that, code.env. So .env is our file name, right? So let's clear this once and let's do this ls minus l minus a. So you, okay, what's the problem? cls ls minus l minus a. Yeah. So we have .env file here. So what we will do, we will do code.env. So this will open this .env file in the code editor. If you use just code dot, then it will open the whole this whole of this Python folder, you know. So let's just say code.env. So now right now we are in our code editor. Oh, right. So this is our uh, code editor. And now let's see what are the next steps. So in the code file, replace your project endpoint with the appropriate endpoint of your model and your model deployment placeholder with the name assigned to your GPT-4o model deployment. So now we know what we have to do. So first of all, our project endpoint, we will go to our project endpoint, not now. So let's copy this. So we have copied this project endpoint and now we will paste it here. So we are changing the .env file and we are pasting it project endpoint, right? Now we have to go to the models and endpoints, right? Now let's go to our models and endpoints. Then I will go to our model. So this is our model, right? So this is the name of the deployment. So as you can see, this is the name of the deployment. So I have to just copy it, copy and just paste it here. So paste it. So this is my deployment name. This is the project endpoint name, like the project endpoint link. So we have to save it. So we can just say Control S, right? It's saved now. And then for quitting it, we can just do Control Q or we can just right click and quit, whatever you prefer. So I will just quit it here from here, right? And after quitting it, so our file is now updated, like .env file is updated. So as you add code, be sure to maintain the correct indentation. Okay. So now we have to enter this chat app.py. So now let's open chat app.py in our editor. Okay, what's happening is, okay, let's do this. I don't know why it's going upwards, but let's do cls. Okay, now it's perfect. Code chat app.py, right? So code chat app.py. So now our app.py has opened. So now let's, what's the next thing they are saying? existing statements that have been added at the top of file to import necessary SDK namespaces. So we have import OS, we have import .env, load.env. So this is for loading the environment variables, and this is for OS. And here add references. So in add references, what we have to do, we have to copy this code. So what this is doing is, right, so this is basically we are importing default Azure credential library. So this is used for authentication from Azure.identity, which we have already installed. Then from Azure.ai.projects, we are importing AI project client library, right? And from OpenAI, we are importing Azure OpenAI. So this is all about we have to add this so that like we have to import the necessary things from here so that we can use that in our code. We have already installed these in our code. You can see that Azure Identity, we have already installed this in our virtual environment. So now we are just importing it. Under the command get configuration setting, note how code loads the project connection string and model deployment name. So now in the main, see this get configuration string. So we are loading our environment variables, and we are loading our project endpoint and model deployment. So they are loading it from .environment file, and we have changed the .env file to refer to our project endpoint and model deployment. So that is how they are configuring settings here. So now we have to initialize the project client. So to initialize the project client, what we have to do is, so this is AI project client. We have to provide credentials. So in the credentials, we will use default Azure credential. So the default Azure credential does is it goes to the different authentication methods. It try different authentication methods. So by saying that exclude environment credential, we are saying that do not authenticate based on the environment variables, right? And managed identity credential, we are excluding it also. So we are saying that do not try to authenticate with managed identity. So we are just saying here to save the time, right? So default is your credential is basically authenticating for the authentication, right? And the endpoint is basically our project endpoint, which we have loaded from the environment variable. So let's just copy this, right? Copy and paste. So yeah, they were saying we have to take care of the indentation. So yeah, I think this will take care of the indentation because it is Python. So yeah, we have to take care of indentation. Yeah, so this is in try block right now, project client, and this one. So I think this is okay. So afterwards we have to get chat client. So this is basically we are using our project to get the OpenAI client. So let's copy this also, right? We have to done this also. Now what they're saying, initialize prompt with system message. So our prompt, we have to initialize the prompt with system message. So our prompt is a list and is a list of dictionaries, right? So in which there is one key for role and one key for content. So the first message is a system message. So role is system, and this is a you're a helpful AI assistant, answer questions. Okay. So we have to just copy this. So this is a list and we will use this, right? So this is the prompt, right? This is a list of dictionaries. And now the next is we will use the OpenAI client. So next we have to copy this code for get a chat completion code, right? So this will be run in a loop. So let's copy this also, and I will explain what this means. So right, enter your prompt and everything. Yep. So this is chat completion. Okay, so this is not indented properly. Let me indent it properly. Right. Completion. Let me do this. Let me type this. So first of all, what we are doing, we are appending. So in chat completion, let's see this code. So first of all, we are running an infinite loop. We are asking the user to input or type quit if he wants to exit, right? So if he wants to exit, it will just be quit. You can type it in uppercase or lowercase, so that's why there is lower. So you have to type quit to like exit this infinite loop, or you have to enter the prompt, and whatever you enter the prompt, it will just keep on asking you, please enter the prompt after every interaction. So you just enter the prompt and then it will use the input text for your prompt. So now in chat completion, the first thing we are doing is we are appending our list with the role user and with the content as input text, which we get from the user, right? And the next thing is we are using we are getting the response from OpenAI client dot chat completion dot create. So next thing what we are doing is, right, so we are using this response in which we are specifying the model deployment. So we have this from our environment variables, and the next thing we are specifying is our messages. So this message is the list that we created, right? So in messages we are passing the list that we have created. So this is the list of prompt. So we have to specify these two, the model in which we put the model deployment and messages in which we put the prompt, right? Which is the list. It's not just a single message, it's a list. So we are passing the history also in this case, right? The history of chat, not just a specific message. And for OpenAI client, so we have the OpenAI client, we get it from here, and then we are just using .chat.completions.create to get our response. Now the next thing after response, what we have to do, so there might be different response choices, and from the completion we need to get this. So next we get the completion response.choices.0, and next we print the completion so that we know that what is the response from the AI. And then we basically append this to our list so that our LM has whole the history, like what was the response. So this is the role assistant and this is the content completion, right? So this is what we are doing here this is all done inside the infinite loop. So after that we have to just save our changes. So for that what we have to do, we have to just press control S, right? So changes have been saved, and you can use control Q to quit it. So we are now we exited the code editor. Now what we have to do, in Cloud Shell command line pane, enter the command to sign into Azure. So we will use AZ login. So they have said that you must be signed into Azure even though the Cloud Shell session is already authenticated. So we have to sign in even though we are in the portal, still we need to sign in. So AZ login, and so automatically authenticated, run AZ login if you need a user different account. So now we are getting logged in. So why are we logging in here? So it will use like these credentials. So we have used this code, right? um, Default is your credential. So what credentials it will use? It will use the credentials of this login credentials, right? So now what they are saying, to sign in, use a web browser, open this. So we will open this device login, right? And now they are saying then enter this code. Now we have to enter this code. So we have entered this code and we are using this account. Yes, I am trying to sign into Microsoft Azure CLI. So yeah, So we have signed in. You may now close this window. Okay, now we can close this window. So as you can see that we have signed in, we have followed the instructions that they told us to sign in. We go to a different link here, device login, and then we enter the code that they mentioned. This is our subscription name, subscription ID, and tenant. Uh, Select the subscription and tenant. So we have to type the number for this. Let's type 1 because that is the subscription, that is the subscription ID that we want to use. Don't worry, like I will delete this subscription. So right. So this is the tenant, this is the default directory, Azure subscription, and we have logged in. So now after logging in, what we have to do is, what is the next step? So after logging in, they are saying just run your application. So we have to run the application. So let's Python, and then what we have to do is chat app.py, right? So enter the prompt. So first prompt, what we will enter is what is the fastest animal on earth. So let's enter this. What is the fastest animal on earth in one sentence, right? So what is the fastest animal on earth in one sentence? The fastest animal on earth is peregrine falcon. Okay, so a type of falcon which can reach speed over 240 miles per hour during its huntings too. Okay, that's good information. So we can say where can I see one, or are they endangered? Okay, so where can I see them? Tell one location in one sentence. Okay, so you can see these falcons at San Francisco Bay Area. Okay, so we can see them there, where they're often spotted nesting on tall buildings. Okay, so they are nest on tall buildings and coastal cliffs, right? So now we want to quit. So let's quit, right? So this is basically telling like it's maintaining the chat history, and we are all always passing the chat history. So now we will click on quit, and yeah, this is our chat application. So thank you.